Pocomoke City has a lot to be proud of. A rich history, a gorgeous old downtown, the sweet Pocomoke River, the Delmarva Discovery Museum. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, but the town endured an episode of civic embarrassment about a century ago.
A sailing ship built in a Pocomoke shipyard and named Pocomoke in the town's honor got embroiled in a crime covered in newspapers all over the country. It's a story that Secrets of the Eastern Shore author Jim Duffy tells in one of his books.
Yeah, it's the ship that brought shame to Pocomoke. Wow. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Good afternoon.
I still love when you show up.
I guess there is some irony here, right?
There is.
It was the pride.
The story kind of begins with like a really something Pocomoke City can take great pride in.
Right.
And that is a shipbuilder named E. James Tull. He was born in the 1850s. Pocomoke was still little Newtown. It was called Newtown.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And when he was a young man, he got jobs in shipyards, and his talents in the shipyards were like completely over the top. He could make these drawings before construction that just blew everybody away. And by the time he was like 30, he opened his own shipyard. The historian Pete Lesher at the Chesapeake Bay Maritime Museum went through all the shipyard records and said that like there's not another shipyard on the eastern shore of Maryland that built more vessels. He built all those ones with the crazy names, the Bug-Eyes and the Skipjacks and the Rams.
Right.
And then motorboats came in. He was building tugboats and yachts and everything. He built more than 200 boats. Wow. Also all kinds of civic causes, served as mayor for a long time, so he played a huge role in Pocomoke becoming a big place.
Great guy.
A big place. And then he had a run of bad luck at the end of his life. In 1922 was a big fire that destroyed downtown Pocomoke. He was the mayor then, but he was out on the front lines, moving people around, trying to save, throwing water on buildings. Got a bad case of smoke inhalation that night. Never really recovered, died a couple of years later of pneumonia.
Okay.
And this is all about the same time as this embarrassment episode. So it's really a run of bad luck at the end of his life. They had a big party in Pocomoke just a few years before, celebrating the launching of this three-masted schooner. Everybody got half a day off of work. They took boat rides and they had refreshments, a big party and everything like that.
This is the Pocomoke.
This is a schooner called the Pocomoke.
A schooner, okay.
A schooner called the Pocomoke. And they launched it and everybody took great pride in it. And then in 1921, there was a big prohibition bust. It was off the coast of New Jersey with hundreds of cases of liquor on it.
Oops.
Well, it was supposed to have hundreds of cases of liquors on it, but there was none. They had loaded up all the liquor in the West Indies, and then they brought it. They were supposed to go to Canada, but they got arrested off the coast of New Jersey with nothing on board. And the guys had kind of a Florida man story about this. They said, oh my God, the storm, the waves, the only thing we could think to do to save our lives was throw all the liquor overboard. No.
Yeah, no.
That was their story. And they stuck to it for a while, and then they gave up on it. They all did a little bit of time, and the Pocomoke eventually got released from whatever ship jail they were keeping it in for a little while.
Right.
And the headlines just kept on coming. I mean, it's amazing. So this is a period right at the beginning of Prohibition where they weren't making any arrests for this stuff, and liquor was kind of still flowing freely, and people were like, why aren't you arresting anybody? And this was one of the first big arrests. So the headlines were like, if you put it in an old newspaper database, hundreds and hundreds of front page stories from never heard of it, Iowa, to whatchamacallit, Maine, and all the way down, all these little towns everywhere. Pocomoke is splashed across the front page.
So what did the people of Pocomoke think of all of this controversy?
There was one really fun article in the Worcester Democrat that reminisced about the big party and how proud everybody was of the ship, and then made mention of the fact that, well, now they're kind of spreading the name of Pocomoke far and wide, and it concluded in kind of a tone of sad irony. It said, but judging by the flow of liquor in our town, none of that shipment made it back to the namesake place of its town.
What a great story. Now we're going to shift gears a few moments. Is that okay?
That's good.
Katie, when she was here a couple weeks ago, and
Yeah, Katie,
you guys
yeah.
were talking about an event you have coming up.
I do. So next Thursday is the Pocomoke County Historical Society annual dinner.
Oh.
And I am honored to be there. Guest speaker telling some strange and wondrous stories. And that's next Thursday at the Civic Center. I think you guys were kind enough to put a phone number up on your website because I don't have it memorized.
Yeah.
And you may have one or two good stories.
I might.
Perhaps.
I have a special request to tell the black cat stories.
Oh.
We'll see. We'll see.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you'll have to get some tickets to go and show up there at the Historical Society's dinner.
Thank you.
Jim Duffy, thank you.
Thank you.